Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of The King's Court. I'm your host, George Brown. Got my co-host, Mandus Buckle. Mandus, how you doing?
I'm good, George. How are you?
Another day, another dollar, man, on the grind. That's about it.
You got to really be on a grind. You're a couple weeks out for the Olympia.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I feel good, but let's talk about our first topic. And that is the Olympia, whatever. Last year's top 5, where are they now?
Yeah, well, where are they? So we know last year's champ, Brandon, is training, getting ready to defend his title or try and repeat as champ, however you want to look at it. Saw some. I'm not a social media guy. As funny as it sounds, we're a social media company, but I'm not on social media very much. But I was on recently. Saw some stuff of Ray. Ray looks like Ray. I've said the last few years, other than I would say the two guys who have been the most consistent with conditioning, show in and show out, are Ray and Brandon. Sure enough, they were 1 and 2 last year. So Ray looks good. Now we got 3, 4, and 5. Where are they sitting right now?
I think third was Ryan Terry, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so I seen Ryan Terry, and he looks to be looking like Ryan Terry. I know he's had a lot of stuff going on as far as like a hip injury, and he's moving around as far as like moving into his house or whatever. But from what I see, he looks like Ryan Terry.
Yeah. And you can never count out a guy who's been in the top 5 over and over and over, and a guy with a proven coach who has a long track record of success, Neil Hill. So Ryan Terry's going to be ready.
Yeah, and then rounding out the 4 spots, 4-time Mr. Olympia, Jeremy Buendia. He's not doing it.
That's a sad story currently. How fast the mighty have fallen when it comes to Jeremy Buendia. We wish the best. He's a young man, but boy, he's taken a bad turn for the worse here as of late.
Yeah, I mean, things happen in life, and sometimes you just got to figure it out, So like you said, he's young. I'm not the one to like crucify anybody. Sometimes you got to bump your head in order to know, do's and don'ts in life, So it's a tough time for him, man. And hopefully, things work out for him.
It seems like he's bumped his head on every conceivable branch he possibly could, though, George. There's something going on there that I don't know. He had a lot of stability in his life for a long time with the people that were around him, and it seems like everybody's gone. Now, you can look at it one of two ways. Did everybody leave him, or did he do something to ostracize and excommunicate himself from everybody else? There's always two sides to a story. But there's only one common denominator, and that's him.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah, I mean, like I said, we're on the outside looking in. We don't know which one but the best.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So rounding out the 5th spot, young Andre Ferguson.
Andre's always a conversation piece. He's been at the top for a long time, but we've seen a lot of inconsistency out of Andre now in the last year and a half or 2 years. When he wants to show up, he shows up, and he looks to be one of the best in the world. And then there's other shows where he just kind of shows up. So what version of Andre Ferguson are you going to see? It's easy to say it's the Olympia. You'll see the best, but that's not guaranteed. You know, again, when you've seen an up and down, ebb and flow, I think sometimes people can get used to, hey, I can turn the switch on and off whenever I want. That's still not going to be as consistent as, for instance, a Ray or a Brandon, where they show up. No, you're going to see a professional level of conditioning no matter what the show. So it'll be interesting. If he shows up great, he's a threat. But what version of him will show up? That's all.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you look at the numbers, you know, he's winning shows. I mean, and that's kind of how you got to go off of. You know, last couple of years, he's won the Arnold back to back, and you know, he's doing enough to win the shows. You know, so I mean, you know, I've definitely dealt with showing up consistent. You know, show in and show out. You know, but you know, like he's always dangerous. You know, like I said, you can't win
Absolutely.
the Arnold back,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. So that's the top five. What do you think? I mean, you know, we kind of touched on it earlier, you know, about you know, top five this year. I think it's just it could go so many different ways, you know.
Well, you know,
You just
that's the
never
top
know.
five from last year, and that's
Yeah.
what it was. So what it's
Yeah.
going to be this year, we don't know, but that's where they are from last year. You know,
Yeah.
that's where we'll see. You know, let's move on to topic 2. Points for with the new point system. You now get points at the Olympia if you finish second through fifth. It's 12 points for second, 10 points for third, 8 points for fourth, you know, and so on. So, you know, there's no more automatic qualification for the following year, but you're starting out, you know, with 12, 10, 8 points. So that puts you automatically. Those are the leaderboards for the following year. It's a great way to start the season, end the
Yeah.
season, and start the season all in one day.
Yes, and strategic too, as well, because you're already putting your hand in the pot for next year. So for those people who don't know, because you know things have changed, you know, as far as it was the tier 1 shows, and then now there's a new thing that just came out, NPC News Online, the new point system. Can you explain that for people so they won't, you know,
Yeah.
be
So
clear?
for those of you who don't know, you just go on and watch last episode of King's Court. I'm sure you guys will find it extremely entertaining. Not only did we break down the point system, but we had some of the top men's physique coaches in the world all on there giving some of their opinions. But this is not only for men's physique. This applies to any division where there's 25 or more shows. So currently you're looking at men's physique, classic physique, and bikini. So right now, the last show for the year, the Olympia, you know, will also be the first show of the year for those guys. Well, it wouldn't be. San Antonio would have been the first show, excuse me. But the last show of the year, being the Olympia, will also be already the beginning of the following year, because they're going to accumulate points for the 2020 qualification for the 2020 Olympia. So I think that makes it very interesting. So yes, you're not automatically qualified, but if you come in second, you got 12 points already. That puts you as a leader on the board for the point system. So I find it very interesting. You still are rewarded for finishing second through fifth, but now you will need to compete. You will need to pick, you know, whether you pick one show or 2 or 3 shows, whatever you feel is right for you as an athlete. But I think it's very interesting, and guys will have to adjust and adapt. That's all.
She brought up San Antonio. Shout out to Cali on his first win. I failed to mention that. So Cali, congratulations on your win.
Yeah.
And I believe the other show, Long Wu won, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
congratulations to him.
the topic 3 of this week are the dual shows. Kali Cordy, congratulations. As George said, you were the first person to qualify for the 2020 Olympia. He won San Antonio, and then the following week, right, George?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and that's a zero gravity guy, Ryan Benson.
Yes.
And he looked great out there. From what I hear, it was pandemonium. The fans were there to see him, and he delivered with a W. So he's the second guy to deliver. It was in Vietnam.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ryan's already got him. He's already got him one Olympian in.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Underground athletes and Team Zero Gravity.
Let's go.
He's got one. So, and then a last topic here, George. I think you got a surprise for us this week.
Yes, I do, man. We got none other than the 2018 Mr. Olympia, Brandon Hendrickson, coming up next. So stay tuned, go to commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Well, are we going to talk about Brandon for a second before we come back? What are the chances of Brandon repeating as champ?
0.
There's no chance of him repeating. So Brandon does not repeat his champ.
Yeah. So look, I trained with him last week, I believe. I'm combobulated or whatever, and he's in the zone, man. First time actually like training with him, being with him or whatever. He showed up, and it was like he's just in the zone. I watched him work out. And he's just in his groove. Nothing's really bothering him, He just seems to be in a good place, So I think from my observation that he's doing everything to put himself in a position to repeat, which is what he should be doing, But sometimes that doesn't happen. And I think that, from my observation, that's what he's doing.
So you're saying there's 0% chance of him repeating or 100% chance of him repeating?
I'm in the field, so I'm just saying, all jokes aside, dude is in the zone and he's working. Sometimes you get relaxed. He's not satisfied with the one, and he's working hard to try to defend his title, So he understands that there are people that are coming to chop his throat, and he's not taking it lightly. And like I said, he's doing everything to put himself in a position. When you're in that position, you do everything that you can do to, put yourself in a position to win again. I think he's doing, now whether, whatever happens, we don't know. But from what I've seen, dude is working.
Yeah, I would say, I don't think anything is ever 100% because it's judged. Just like any game, even with scoring, there's never 100%. But I would say not only do I think Brandon's got probably a 98% chance of repeating, I think there's several divisions that you're going to see will repeat. I think Brandon Hendrickson will repeat as men's physique. I think Sid Gillen is another lock repeating in figure. I think Shanique Grant is almost pretty much a lock in women's physique. I think Breon, with what I've seen recently, maybe not quite as strong as Shanique and Brandon and Sid, but I think Breon is another repeat. So I guess I just gave some of my Olympia picks here a little early on King's Court. The other divisions, I think, are all up for grabs. Totally up for grabs. I think you're going to see a new champ in every other division.
Well, Saturday night, Las Vegas, we will find out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I think, this year is different. I think everybody's on their A game. I don't know if that's because of the new setup where people get to go in at night or, if it's just a year, like it's getting to, you look at some of the divisions and how it used to be. Like, when you would have, Chris Cormier and, Ronnie Coleman and, you have 8 sweet guys all in one field and everybody, maxed out, so I think it's going to be a year like that, because people really want to win. People are really giving it their all, and so I'm excited.
I think, George, people realize, not that they didn't in the past, but I think this group of champions really realizes that the window of opportunity is small. To be Mr. or Mrs. Olympia is hard enough. To retain it is even harder. So they know it's a very short window. So we can see they're all of the people I just mentioned are better than they have been in the past. So they've won a title and improved. So by that logic, I'm assuming if you were the champ from last year and you're better, how are you not repeating as the champ? That's just my logic. That's all.
Yeah.
Until you get absolutely knocked out and dethroned, you're gonna repeat. So, but you got it. You got a special guest coming. Let's get that guest on the line.
Yeah, real quick. You got a new location, I see. Where you filming from?
Yeah, slightly new location.
You got going
background there.
in the background.
Yeah, that's the Rat Pack, man. I guess I'm showing my age a little bit.
All right, cool. We got Mr. Olympia 2018, Brandon Hendrickson coming up next. You guys stay tuned. Coming back from commercial break, it's the King's Court. Today we got a special guest, not Mandus. We got Brandon Hendrickson in the house. B, what up?
Man, what up, man? 3 weeks off from the Olympia. Grinding.
How you feeling, man?
I'm tired. I finally got carbs back today in my meal plan, so feeling good, but I'm just motivated, man.
All right, so look, man, take us back to last year's win, and then speed us up to like right now, like kind of give us a gist of everything. It's got to be a whirlwind of things that happen, how your life's changed. Just give us a quick gist of what's been going on.
Yeah, feel like I traveled the world since that win. So I won the Olympia, and then the very next week I competed in Korea and won Korea Pro. Then 2 weeks later, competed in Japan, won Japan Pro, and then 2 weeks later after that, I competed in China and won the China Pro. So I was pretty busy last year. I did 8 shows last year. Out of the 8, I won 6. But by show 8, I was tired, man. I was drained. So I was just glad to be done with China in December. But then after that, I just made a lot of appearances and guest posing, did appearances in India, went to the Arnold Classic Australia. I've been doing a lot of brand exposure things, working at the expos, the Fit Expos in LA, Anaheim. So doing a lot of traveling and just getting my name and the brand out there. Real busy this year.
So go ahead, man.
So Brandon, you just talked about, hey, you did this tour after. There was a lot of questions and a lot of people wondering, hey, he just won the Olympia. Why did he go and do an entire tour of Asia?
Yeah. Well, we had already planned to do these shows before I even competed at the Olympia. This was already, so no matter what happened at the Olympia, I was going to do the Big Waves Asia tour. But I ended up winning, thank God. And I would have loved to take a break after winning the Olympia, but something in me, I was excited because I wanted to show that I'm not just good on that stage. I can go on any stage around the world and be at my best. So it was more like was reassuring myself and kind of proving that no matter where I go, I can compete at my best.
Well, so you really got to do 2 things at once. So you said the plan ahead of time was to do the Asia tour, obviously to expand your brand, which worked. Your following went through the roof, your sales went through the roof. But at the same time, for the league, it was big because you then you were representing not only yourself, but the IFBB Professional League and the Mr. Olympia Men's Physique title, doing a worldwide, an Asia tour. So those 2 things together, really, it was like all things coming together. So it was a huge benefit, and the timing was perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool because I was able to bring my parents and bring my family along. And I have them experience what it's like to be a Mr. Olympia worldwide, and they got to experience seeing the love that I have worldwide. So just seeing my mom and dad smile like that in all these different countries was like gratifying for me.
And right when Jim made the global expansion. So how great was that to have one of their best athletes doing a worldwide tour when the league had just expanded globally? You know, things just lined up perfectly for you.
Literally, it was perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I forgot what I was about to say. What's the biggest adjustment that you've had to make? You know, as far as being Mr. Olympia. You know, because I did my research. You got your pro card in 2013. I didn't know that. I thought it was 14. So you've been in. You paid your dues. You know, you've worked your way up. You got Mr. Olympia. You know, after that, what's the biggest adjustment, you know, that you've had to make?
In my physique or?
Just period, in your physique and life, just overall with having a Mr. Olympia title.
Yeah, well, I had to keep myself busy. I couldn't just sit down and do nothing as Mr. Olympia. So I made sure that I stayed in people's faces. I stayed traveling and showing up, getting my brand and my name out there. As far as my physique, took some feedback from last year. We really worked on my back, which was one of my weakest points. So as far as my physique, we really worked on the back, and then we brought my legs up a lot. So hopefully we're going to bring something crazy this year in the next 3 weeks.
So going into this Olympia, we spoke a little bit about like the moves you're wearing. I trained with you last week. You seem to be in the zone. You know, it's a different mindset than what you had going into the Olympia last year, because you won Olympia. Last year was like, hey, you know, I can do this, X, Y, Z, but you ended up winning. So now, what's your mindset going into Olympia as far as defending your title?
Yeah, I mean, there was pressure leading up to the Olympia last year and winning it, but I feel even more pressure now defending the title because, I mean, nobody talks about a one-time champ. We talk about Jay Cutler, we talk about Ronnie Coleman. These guys are multiple Olympia champions. So for me, there's the bigger picture for me. Yeah, the one win was nice, but I'm not satisfied. And with the pressure of defending the title, it's only fuel to the fire for me to beat my best and do as best as I can to defend the title. Actually, I'm not even going to say defend the title. I'm going for another title. So that's my mindset when it comes to competing. I train like I don't have any titles. So I'm just going for this title.
Well, we can see you're in shape because you can see your face sunken in. You know, so there's no hiding that. When somebody looks like Skeletor, you're in shape. You're suffering. Do you find it harder or easier now to prepare for big shows?
Mentally it's easier because I'm in this mindset where I don't have any distractions. Like nothing's distracting me. I'm focused. I'm hungry. I'm hungrier than last year. And I think my body's really responding to that. And so seeing my body making these changes, these fast changes, and the way that I'm progressing is just going right back to, it's like circulating my mental and physical. So when I see myself looking better and getting better mentally, I gain more confidence. And then mentally, when I gain more confidence, I apply that confidence into my training and my diet. So it's just like a really positive energy going on right now. And I just feel unstoppable.
So you said you did 8 shows last year.
Yeah.
And you will do 1 show this year. What kind of physical difference do you feel with getting ready for this Olympia compared to getting ready for last year's Olympia? And then how long was this year's prep?
Yeah.
Last year's prep.
Yeah, last year we started at about 13 or 14 weeks out. The last show before the Olympia was Salt Lake City Pro, Salt Lake City. So I had a little time off, but I got right back into prep. And so I really didn't have that much of a break. This year, I had 5 months break. I was off for 5 months, just traveling and getting my brain up there. So I had a much longer break, which, restarted my body. So when I started again in prep, which was 20 weeks out for this prep, my body responded so well. And it's been changing literally every single week.
What did you find easier, having to run that marathon last year where you didn't have much of a break, or this year where you had a break but then you went through a 20-week prep? Is there a difference to you? Do you feel a physical difference, or it just doesn't matter to you anymore?
Yeah, at this point, it really doesn't matter. It's nice to have that break and not have to worry about competing at multiple shows per year. It's nice to just focus on one show. But I still feel the pressure because it's the biggest show in the world. And I'm coming back as a champ. So I feel pressure, but I'm in a good space mentally.
I mean, you can tell, like I said, I've known you for a long time, and, nowadays you're just calm, you're just in your zone, and you're just working, and you can tell it shows to your body at work, so, I congratulate you, man, on your success, and, hopefully we get to chop you up in Vegas.
So here's a question for the two of you. This is very interesting. So you guys have a very interesting, long history. The two of you used to talk a lot. Brandon, when you first came up, George was just slightly ahead of you. He had been a New York Pro champ. He had turned pro just slightly ahead of you. You guys used to communicate a lot. And it's documented. We all know you guys had a really big falling out, but now here you guys are as grown men, made a decision to come full circle, and now you're talking again. You're getting along. You're supporting each other. You're training together, which is very unique. I'd like to hear from both of you what that's kind of been like. Because I'm sure there's a lot of other guys who have had things that go on with other competitors, and maybe some of them never mended fences, never got back to those old relationships. And especially the two of you. The two of you seem to be two people who not only are at the top of your game, but are very different. So there's a lot of things that you're both able to help each other with. Because you guys have such different mindsets, are in different places. So can the two of you elaborate on that a little bit to help everybody else?
I'll go. It's like you said, I came in one show, I believe, before Brandon. I got my pro card in North Americans. He got his in Miami. I kind of had some success a little bit before him. He would call me, he would do great at shows, but really wouldn't necessarily get the placing that he liked. And that's kind of like the road. Everybody feels like that in the beginning. You look at pics, you're like, man, I should have beat that dude, So I used to just tell him, look, man, what you see is what you get. As long as you keep rolling, they're going to acknowledge your work, Yeah. We had our, issue or whatever. Long story short, nothing lasts forever. Once you get down to, the root of the problem, at that point, it's just identifying it, number one, and then, what are you going to do about it? You can continue to keep rolling, but I didn't come here for that. Mandus, he always will talk about you. He always will say, he's a good dude, this and that. And I think just over time, things mended the way that they were supposed to, And so now, just me going to Chicago last week, I never really watched you train or whatever. I see where your mindset is. That made me stay on top of my game. When you giving me input and things like that, helping me out, I think what happens, you realize that we're both successful no matter what, and, it's only a select few of us. And so, me helping you or you helping me to be the best, we both win at the end of the day, So I think it was just pretty much that. And, you know, I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you know, it was just a lot of emotion involved. Like, we're both competitive. We're at one of the biggest shows, you know, in the world. So our emotions were high. A lot of the tension was high. But for me, it's like, none of us are millionaires. Like, we need to be working together. And that us going against each other is not going to help either one of us succeed or go farther. We're probably better working together than we are separate. So someone had to be the bigger person and push it and move forward and come together. So I'm glad that, like, things are, all the drama and all that beef is over, and we're actually working together. And it's going to be cool to see what the future has for us, because in the next 30, 40 years, people are going to look back and talk about the Brandon Hendricksons, the George Browns. They're going to be talking about us, you know, 30, 40 years from now, just like how we talk about Flex Wheeler and Frank Zane, like those guys now. So in 30 years, people are going to be talking about us. So for me, it's like, we're better together. None of us are millionaires. We need to be working together to try to make that. You know, we need to be looking up to Dexter Jackson and Jay Cutler. How did they become successful? So that's all I'm trying to do, is just work together so that we can have a legacy like those guys.
Mm. Some smart words from two smart athletes and two of the better people that I've met in the industry. And I'd like to say I have the fortune and the pleasure to work with both of you, not only as athletes, but in the industry in general. So I think that in itself, what the two of you just said, everyone else can see and hear that. I don't think we can end on a better note, guys. You know, that's the message.
Yeah.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Brandon, for being the men that you guys are, for being the athletes that you guys are, for representing the NPC and IFBB Professional League, and holding your guys' self to an extremely high standard, as you should.
Yeah. It's all good. We all, there's enough room for all of us to eat. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, B, make sure you stay working hard. See you in a couple of weeks. I think we'll be in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'll be in Pittsburgh.
Mandus.
Yep.
Mandus, I'll see you in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Until then, you guys stay working hard. Keep crushing your goals. This is the King's Court, your one nonstop shop. Make sure y'all keep on watching. And long live the King.
Long live the King.